Tonight on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, we're going to determine if you're going to blow all your FAAB on Jamal Williams. It's time for Garbage Time. Guys, welcome into Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Tonight we have Week 4 waivers and the return of JJ LaPlante. How you been doing, JJ?
Good. I was on vacation most of last week. Went down to Miami and I was at the Bills-Dolphins game. So I'm trying to get back into work mode. See how it goes.
You seem to pick the right week to go down to Florida because I don't think you want to be there for the next few days.
Nope. Got out just in time. So was lucky we didn't stay an extra day.
Yeah, no kidding. Guys, if you like what you hear on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, make sure to like and subscribe to the show here on YouTube. You can also listen to us in audio formats on Apple, Spotify, Google, Pandora, Amazon, iHeartRadio. Tune in. Leave us voicemails at www.garbagetimeft.com. Reach us on Twitter at garbage_timeFF and on Instagram at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. And as stated, make sure to leave us voicemails. And JJ, did you happen to listen to yesterday's episode on your way home?
I didn't.
Yeah, well, we have a new contest running on here for Garbage Time Fantasy Football. There is 4 things that you have to do to potentially win a signed Miles Sanders card, Gridiron King. We need you to like an episode, subscribe to the Heckling Fandom here on YouTube, leave us an Apple review, and then comment, I am the Heckling Fandom on one of our episodes to let us know that all 4 of these things have been done, and we will be raffling that card off at the end of the season. So you like a signed Miles Sanders card?
Would I like a signed Miles Sanders card?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Okay, well, too bad. You're one of the hosts of the show, so you can't win it. Let's get into some news.
News updates.
Not a ton on the news docket tonight as we had covered the majority of it already, but let's cover the Chargers a little bit. There's a few storylines coming out of there. Rashawn Slater has torn his bicep, so I want to get some information from you on how this is going to affect their running game going forward, and maybe give us a little bit more of a breakdown on the running back committee that seems to be going on with Eckler back there. What is the outlook of this injury for this team and the running back situation for the Chargers?
Chargers in danger of being like the most disappointing team in the league this year. So that's a big blow. He is a franchise left tackle for them, obviously, and that hurts run game a little bit, and it definitely hurts Herbert's protection. So it's not good. And then obviously you think about the run game so far this year. It has just not been a choice for Austin Eckler, who has not panned out to his draft capital. So potentially try and sell if you can still get a taker.
Yeah, he's barely getting out of the field for more than 50% of those reps, and we're seeing a lot of work start to go to Sony Michel. So I don't know if that's going to continue to tick down or what's going to happen with Eckler, but he has been a giant disappointment, as many running backs have been up to the first 3 weeks of fantasy football. It seems to be that if you took those tight ends earlier or went with the wide receivers, you are a lot more happy than the running back owners. Unless, of course, you got Saquon Barkley in the second or third round, who seems to be performing a little bit better than average, or Derrick Henry over the next few weeks.
I mean, I think a lot of the problem, surprisingly, was that they got down so much to the Jaguars, and it was all passes. So, and he did catch 8 balls, but still, he only had 4 carries, or 4 or 5 carries, and still no touchdowns. So he plays the Texans next week, who just got absolutely gashed by the Bears. So he should be able to run on them. Hopefully, he can rebound next week.
Keenan Allen, though, for the Los Angeles Chargers, is back on the field practicing for them. Do you anticipate him actually getting on the field this week and having a decent week for the Los Angeles Chargers, who look to rebound?
It sounds like he's going to play based on everything I've read today, and I think they kind of need him to play. He's obviously a captain and a big part of the franchise, and I think him playing will kind of raise morale too. So I do think that Keenan Allen returns this week.
Would you play him over someone like Romeo Doves this week?
Yeah, if you got Keenan Allen and he's active, you're starting him.
Okay, and Dak Prescott is eyeing a Week 5 return against the Rams. Do you think this is realistic for Dak Prescott, and is he nuts to pick the Rams and want to come back against?
The Rams haven't quite been the Rams of last year, but I mean, obviously, you don't want Aaron Donald coming at you when you're coming off a broken thumb because he likes to get in your face. So, I think it's kind of early, but we'll see if he can effectively grip and throw the ball. He was struggling before, so and Cooper Rush has done a good job holding it down for him.
He is undefeated as a starter for the Cowboys. Let's see if he can do it again this week.
I think a lot of that will depend on how they do the next couple of games. I guess next game, if they win and they're sitting there at 3-1, do they want to rush Dak back? We'll see.
Yeah, I wanted to get your opinion actually on that game a little bit from last night too. What is your thoughts on the running back situation for the Cowboys? Zeke got into the end zone, but got a little bit less work than Pollard last night. Do you feel a little bit better about this rushing game going forward, or what's your thoughts on it?
It's going to be matchup dependent, I think. The split is really, I mean, I don't think anyone's really that surprised. They had a pretty good mix yesterday, and Pollard obviously is the faster back and had the big play yesterday. So, I mean, I don't think my outlook on it changes really. Zeke, if you're probably starting him, and Pollard, he's a flex play, I think.
So we have a comment here from the Heckling Fandom. King Showtime, make sure to like and subscribe to the show and go back and listen to the beginning of the episode on how to win a signed Miles Sanders card if you would like to do that. He said he traded Brian Robinson and Bateman for Edmonds and Renfro, 12 PPR, win or L. If you have the Brian Robinson and Bateman side, I would say you won this. If you ended up with Edmonds and Renfro, this is not a good trade, I don't think, in your favor. What's your thoughts on this, JJ?
It's close. It depends on Brian Robinson. I don't know when he's going to come back. The whole situation's been kind of sketchy. So, but Bateman's obviously been really impressive this year.
Yeah.
It's close. I think Bateman is the best player in the trade, but Edmonds and Renfro combined are probably more valuable with Brian Robinson still being out. So, if you really needed a running back and you're deep at receiver, I think this could be a W.
Yeah, give us a little bit more context of what your team looks like, and we'll give you a little bit of a better answer here too. JJ, you ready to get into some waiver pickups, or is there any other news you wanted to go over before we get into that?
I think you covered it. Let's get after it.
All right, let's start with Marcus Mariota for this upcoming week. Seems to have a favorable matchup going up against the Browns now that, unfortunately, their outside linebackers seem to be hurt. Clowney, I don't believe is expecting to play for this week, and there was a major accident to Myles Garrett. So what's your thoughts about Marcus Mariota going into this week?
Yeah, I think he's definitely streamable if you need a quarterback this week. Quarterback, along with running back, has been pretty subpar so far in fantasy this year. So it's been a very, very weird year. So I think he's definitely streamable.
King Showtime says I have Carr, so Renfro helps. Gives him the stack. You picking up Hollins there too, Showtime? We'll talk about him a little bit later, I'm sure. My waiver wires, my wide receivers are Olave, Burks,
JJ, so that's Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Olave, Burks, and Renfro.
Not looking bad.
Yeah, Olave's really coming on, so I guess Burks is too.
Yep. What is your thoughts on Zach Wilson this week for Superflex formats, JJ? I know he's definitely not a starter or somebody you're looking to stream, but can you play him in 2 quarterback leagues in this upcoming week?
Sure. They're playing the Steelers. You saw Brissett get some things cooking with Amari Cooper last week on Thursday night. So without Watt, that defense isn't quite the same for the Steelers. So I think, there's no reason that Wilson can't cook something up, especially in Superflex. Obviously in standard 12-man PPR or whatever, you're not going to start Zach Wilson, but he's definitely an option in Superflex if he gets the nod.
Do you find it concerning that his left tackle is going to be out for the next 4 weeks? They have a rookie on the right side. and he's coming off that knee injury. Do you think that he can use that mobility, or do you think he's going to be limited in that game?
I don't know how well he's moving around. You're the Jets fan. You may know how he's looked in practice, but I saw that Fant went
at full
on IR
practice
today.
for 2 weeks. Yeah, it sucks. They brought in some veterans to cover up that hole over the next few weeks, and actually, I like one of them, but I don't think he's going to get onto the field until next week. So let the turnstile begin at left tackle for a week. Going to be exciting. King Showtime says Wilson, Big W, new tight end, wide receiver. Garrett Wilson, because he kind of looks like Justin Jefferson this year. I'm freaking loving him. All right, what is your thoughts on Jared Goff for this upcoming week? Seems to be playing very well for fantasy football. Is he definitely a starting streamer?
Yeah, I saw that the Lions are like top 5 in scoring. So I think they could score on Seattle. Seattle's defense doesn't really scare you. They're at home inside. I think it's a good matchup. And then you think about them missing DeAndre Swift. Are they going to allocate as many carries to the running backs this week? So I think he is streamable. Sure, if you got a bad matchup somewhere else.
Lucas, Varina's 44 of the Heckling Fandom. Make sure to like and subscribe to the show. Would you trade Zeke straight up for James Robinson? Absolutely, if you're getting James Robinson. He's a top 3 running back currently in the league. He's consistently scoring between 18 to 21 points, depending on the format, and he is not going to be letting up. So absolutely, if you have a chance to trade Zeke for Robinson, I would in a heartbeat. What's your thoughts on this, JJ?
Yeah, I think I would. Zeke is just Zeke. He doesn't have the big runs anymore. He's just going to get touches because he's paid a lot of money. And he's looked okay this year, but he's been nothing crazy. And obviously the Dallas offense isn't where it was last year where they're racking up all the points and having a ton of goal line carries. And Jacksonville actually has looked pretty damn good. Trevor Lawrence has definitely taken a second-year leap that some other quarterbacks
he is, and that offense looks good.
Yeah. So I think, honestly, Robinson's in the better offense right now and playing at a higher level. So, yeah, I think I would do that.
King Showtime says, left a like. Have a good night. Thanks for the help. No problem, man. Anytime. Join us.
Much love, Showtime.
Yeah, join us Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays and Thursdays, depending on our schedule. We do 3 shows a week during the season. All right, any other quarterbacks you'd like to talk about tonight, JJ, before we get into the very scarce running back waiver wire for the week?
Yeah, I don't think there's any other QBs that are on my radar right now. So,
all right, well, let's get to a running back that's definitely on your radar, and you being the Bears fan, you can definitely talk about him. What is your thoughts on Khalil Herbert for this week, having over 150 yards and a touchdown, and David Montgomery being day-to-day currently with 2 injuries, knee and ankle? So give us a rundown of what's going on for your team in that backfield.
So Matt Eberflus has come in, and one of his things is he is incredibly private about injuries. So I don't think you're really going to know specifically what's wrong with Montgomery, but the fact that they haven't put him on IR or anything, I think he's probably back in a few weeks. Though they're calling him day to day, but everything I've seen from fantasy doctors and Pro Football Doc, everything is suggesting a high ankle sprain. So I'm going to guess he's going to miss at least a couple weeks. And obviously every time that Herbert's been asked to come in, he's done a very good job and been completely productive for fantasy football. So
is this of the serious variety that Mac Jones is currently dealing with?
I don't know. They've been so private about injuries this year. It's been hard to keep up. So I'm not sure tomorrow the first injury report will come out for the week and maybe we'll have a better idea, but I would guess it's going to be a DNP by his name, and I don't think he's going to play Sunday versus the Giants. So
how much FAAB would you be willing to spend on Khalil Herbert as the David Montgomery owner and not as the David Montgomery owner? How much percentage of your FAAB?
I mean, I think a lot. Like the Bears right now, with the way things have been going with the quarterback, they are a top 5 rushing team, and even when Montgomery comes back, whenever he comes back, I think Herbert's still going to be involved in the offense. So I think season long, Herbert's going to be viable. And I know he had the monster game, obviously week 3, but he's the RB8 right now this year in fantasy, which is pretty crazy.
All right, and what is our thoughts on someone in week 1 we described as nothing but a touchdown vulture and has proven otherwise? Jamal Williams for the Lions in a very good offense from which we did not expect this year. Obviously, their starter has gone on IR, going to be out probably for the next 4 weeks minimum. So how much fab and what kind of waiver wire are you putting on Jamal Williams, and what does his outlook look like?
I mean, he's going to get 20 touches a game now, I think, with Swift out. So it's a huge opportunity. Fab wise, I mean, he can win you weeks. He's going to get the volume, so maybe 20, 25% early on. And if you're desperate and you're 0-3, maybe a little bit more to try and get some wins. So
this might be the one to blow your load on.
Yeah, it could be. There really hasn't been the big prize on the waiver wire yet this year. There hasn't been anybody that's like run away with top waiver wire pickup like last year with Patterson.
Not yet, though, but there's some wide receivers on this list, specifically one we may want to talk about them maybe in that category. But first, let's talk about Alexander Mattison. He's kind of a little interesting. I mean, probably on most rosters already, but you have to look at it. And if he is on waiver wire, you spending much on him, or do you expect Dalvin Cook to become bionic this week, as it seems every year now with the device, and have 4 touchdowns?
Yeah, I would think Madison's probably rostered in most leagues. So, but if he's available, I would add him if you have some dead weight on your team in the event that Cook doesn't play. We know what Madison's capable of filling in. He was an RB1 every time he filled in as a starter last year for the Vikings. So probably going to get some big numbers.
And what is your thoughts on Jordan Mason potentially getting 12 carries for the 49ers this past weekend? Yes, in a very ugly game set, but are you rostering him and seeing what happens with this team just based on the workload at the running back position?
He, right now with the Tyrion Davis-Price injury, he seems to be the next man up for the 49ers after Wilson. So, and Wilson's had a track record of getting hurt. So I think he should definitely be rostered if you have – I have a league where I had it's a 16-man league, so was desperate at running back. So I had like every single 49ers running back. So I have Wilson and Davis-Price and Mason. So
brutal.
Yeah.
But at least you'll have one.
Yes. Until Marlon Mack comes in.
Absolutely. In that 16-person league, is J.D. McKissic someone you were looking at and someone that you can play in the flex? It seems like he got a little bit of work this past weekend. I would say he's not a favorite of mine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm chasing McKissic. He had a lot of receptions, but he didn't do a whole lot with them, and he only had 3 carries. And that script was being down the entire time.
Which puts him straight on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, it's disappointing. Gibson with 1 target. Just ridiculous.
Do you see that kind of game script happening for the Commanders this upcoming week going up against the Cowboys?
No, I think that game's probably pretty competitive, actually.
So you think the other running backs are going to potentially have a bigger game this week?
Yeah, I'm not dying to play McKissic versus the Cowboys. I think Gibson seems to play well against the Cowboys. He's had some big games against them. There was that Thanksgiving game where he scored like 4 touchdowns. So I think it could be a Gibson week.
Maybe a DFS play, though.
Maybe.
Any other running backs you'd like to cover, Mr. LaPlante?
No. I think you handled it.
All right, let's get into the much more dubious and deeper wide receiver position, as been the theme for the last 2 weeks on the waiver wire. What is our thoughts on Zay Jones for the Jaguars in a prolific offense going up against the Chargers this week? He seems to be consistently playing well and getting some nice work on the outside.
Yeah, he's very involved in the offense. So, if you have an injury or you're in a bit of a hole, matchup dependent, you can definitely stream him as a flex option. So he should be rostered in your league.
All right. And how much FAAB or waiver wire priority are you putting into Romeo Doves getting 8 targets for 73 for the Packers? It kind of seems like he could be getting that wide receiver 1 work for that team based on the injuries that are now occurring on that wide receiver corps.
Yeah, they're banged up, and he was given an opportunity Sunday, and he capitalized. He caught all 8 of his targets, looked pretty good, scored the opening drive. So we've kind of been waiting for someone to step up and be that guy for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, and right now he's probably the favorite to be the guy. So I think I would spend a decent amount if he's not rostered in your league to try and acquire him.
Yeah, go out there and see if Chris Olave's on rosters though too. I kind of doubt that he's not on anyone's roster,
Yeah,
but
he should
he
be.
kind of was a little bit slow. But go out there and see if he's still there. He would obviously be the number one pickup for the week if he was. But Romeo Doves in most leagues may be the number one pickup on the league. I think there's some contention though on that with Mack Hollins. He's strange. I don't know what to quite think of him because he's opposite of DaVante Parker, but they were throwing his way 150 yards and a score, and he seemed to be getting separation. Seems to be like a good player that's going to stick around. So what's your thoughts on this player?
I don't. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know how this happened. I mean, it's surprising that he's even in the league, and here he is with a prominent role in an offense that has Waller and Renfro, who's obviously hurt, but
Yeah.
Devontae Adams and the running backs. I mean, you can add him. Until he does it again, I don't know that I could start Mack Hollins.
I think I would start him.
You would start him?
I would.
I mean, he got most of his yards on late in the game on some big plays, right?
Yeah, he kind of gives me more of that. I hate the comparison because he played well this week, but more down the lines of a KJ Osborne kind of player. Long term is kind of the feeling I get with him, where he'll spout off and have a good 3 or 4 games for you during the season. But he's right in the hot hand right now, and there's still injuries to that wide receiving core, so I think I would play him this week. Don't know if I'd spend a ton of FAAB on him, but he's pretty good. I like Mack Hollins for this upcoming week. Obviously, pick up Tyler Boyd too. He seems to have 1 or 2 big weeks a year, and was a big part of the Bengals offense. So, is he someone you're adding to your bench?
Yeah, I'm sad I had to drop him in Dynasty. I mean, he should be rostered. You can plug him in a flex anytime. I mean, he's just a veteran receiver that's going to end up with like 900 yards and probably 7 touchdowns this year. He's going to have some big weeks, like you said.
All right, and what is your thoughts on Isaiah McKenzie for the Buffalo Bills? Decent game this week. Is obviously the 3rd or 4th option there in the wide receiving core, but the Bills throw to the slot. So, what's your thoughts on him?
Saw it happen live. He looked quick.
Looks good.
He's streamable as a flex option. You know, I'm not blowing my FAAB to go out and get him because he's going to have really down weeks too. But he seems to be out touching Crowder now. It was like week 1, it was really 50-50, and now it seems to be leaning more towards McKenzie.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to note that the Bills did throw it 63 times on Sunday, so that was part of it. But still, he's definitely streamable.
A lot of Singletary. It's kind of surprising. What are we doing with Russell Gage? 12 or 13, 87 yards, but I think the receiving core is getting a little bit healthier. Is this just an albatross hanging out there as a landmine for someone to pick him up, and that's not named your fantasy team?
I tried to play him in DFS last week, and he didn't do anything. So, of course, this week is when he decides to catch 12 balls. But I don't know. I would stash him or add him if you have somebody expendable. But like you said, they're getting healthier. I think Evans is back this week, obviously, with his suspension up, and Godwin's getting healthier. So I don't think it'll be much longer before he's back. So with those two back, I don't think he's catching 12 balls in a game.
This is off topic and has nothing to do with the wide receivers, but I heard this scenario today, and I want to ask your opinion on it. It involves Jared Goff, someone that's probably on a lot of waiver wires. Would you rather play Jared Goff this week or Russell Wilson?
Jared Goff for Seattle. Who's Russell Wilson playing? The Raiders?
I believe so.
Man, you think about how he thought about the AFC West at the start of the year, all these shootouts, and now
they're playing the Detroit Lions this week.
The Seahawks are playing the Lions, right? Mm-hmm. The Raiders and Broncos are playing each other.
Yeah. 1 sec. Oh no, I'm on the Seahawks right now. My bad. I forgot he had moved rosters. 1 second. Denver is playing
Oakland or Vegas.
Is it Vegas?
I think so.
Yeah. So who would you rather play?
I would rather play Russell Wilson. Who should I play? It might be Goff. I mean, I just have not seen anything really encouraging from the Broncos yet.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, they're playing the Raiders in Vegas. it's tough because the Raiders' defense has been pretty lax as well. So
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the wide receiver report.
you're playing Russell Wilson if you have him over Goff, but it's concerning that we have to have that conversation.
It is. Josh Reynolds for the Lions. Thoughts on him? Playable, flex, keep him on the bench, don't touch him.
Keep an eye on St. Brown, right? I know
I
he
agree.
hurt his ankle, so if he is out, I think Reynolds probably runs a lot of the routes that St. Brown ran, and Reynolds and Goff have that historic connection coming from Los Angeles together. So definitely a streamable option if St. Brown is out. If St. Brown is playing, I'm not as excited to try and put him in the lineup anywhere.
Is Josh Palmer going to the bench this week? Or are you picking him off of waivers for one more week?
I don't know. Allen's going to come back in and take work. So,
but I mean, another one of their wide receivers did get hurt this week, so it could be more work for him.
It could be. I think this week I'd probably sit him if Allen's back and see how it plays out. If you have a better option, and then go back to him if Herbert's going to stay with him. But Keenan Allen has been a target hog with Herbert since he came to the league. So,
all right, let's keep moving down this plethora of list. Tre'Quan Smith, 4-5, 105 yards. Playable this week?
Who did you say? I didn't hear.
Tre'Quan Smith for the Saints.
Probably not. I wouldn't seek him out. What's the status of Thomas's injury?
I don't think we have much of an update on that yet.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Kind of mum.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to really evaluate that more Thursday, too, because Wednesday, a lot of those veterans get rested anyway. I like to look at the injury reports Thursday, but I think he's someone you can maybe stash on the bench and just keep the evaluation for the week. You can potentially dump him, too, if
he's just Thomas in his career, in Tre'Quan Smith's career, like every year he'll have one or two games where he booms, and then the rest of the year he'll do nothing. So I'm not super excited about him, but him and Winston have had a connection in the past. So
yeah. Are you super excited about KJ Osborne this week? 74 yards and a touchdown.
No, Justin Jefferson needs to get his ass in gear. Like,
what is going on?
You destroy the Packers like Pro Bowl caliber corners, and then you can't get loose versus anybody else. Like, especially the Lions.
Weird.
They got to figure that out.
You know who is getting loose? That's a name I keep bringing up every single week, and he seems to be doing pretty good for fantasy rosters, but is still out there. Greg Dortch, 9 of 10 and 80 yards. Do we trust Dortch 3 weeks in a row?
I mean, he's getting the looks, and AJ Green's hurt, and Hopkins is obviously still out, so he's going to get his targets. He's going to get probably 7+ targets with the current situation.
So, I thought his career was done after he left the Jets roster, but apparently not. Everyone gets better when you leave the Jets.
Yeah.
Is this a time to add Michael Gallup, potentially coming off the pup?
Yeah, I think he's getting close. So before he has his first game back and has a big play, you may want to add him if you have the roster space. Especially if you have an IR spot and he's still on pup, he's probably still eligible for that. So maybe add him and put him on IR, and then,
All right, let's talk about the weekly Giants debate. Here we go. Sterling Shepard is hurt. Is Kadarius Toney going to get a shot this week, and are you adding him to your roster again? I've already cut him, so am I adding him again?
If you have the luxury of being able to do it, yeah, he could be a jackpot if he gets hot with his talent, but he has to stay healthy. And the Giants line, oh my God.
Awful.
Needs to step up, or nobody's going to be catching passes because all their quarterbacks are going to be in wheelchairs.
Yeah, no kidding. Are you ready to move on to the tight end position?
What is that?
There's two. David Njoku, 9 of 10, 89 yards and a touchdown. He looked very competitive last week and looks like a focal point of the Browns offense. Are you very much looking to start Njoku?
Yeah, there's nothing in tight end, really. It's just...
I've got one more.
I know who you're going to say, too, and he's on the Jets, but yeah, if you have him, you're probably starting him. I mean, there's like nobody that you're really excited to start at tight end these days.
No. Tyler Conklin, 8 targets for 84 yards and a touchdown. Number 3 tight end in all of fantasy football right now, just
crazy.
based on passing volume. And I talked about him right at the beginning of the season. He was getting the volume, and I told you he was going to get the garbage time possession work. And he is up to this point. Are you starting him for your team? Or are you concerned that he'll potentially be blocking this week? Or will there not be as much efficiency with Zach Wilson coming back? I think there's a few things to worry about here.
Shame on me, and I should really know this. Is CJ Uzomah healthy?
He is, and he is playing, although he did nothing for the team last week.
So with the changing of guard at quarterback, I just wonder how it's going to play out. I know I don't know what the dynamics going to look like there, but I do know that Uzomah was like breakfast clubbing with Zach Wilson in training camp. It kind of seemed like it was kissing his ass a little bit.
Yeah, the report said Conklin was the one he was throwing to.
Yeah, so a little worried about that. But if you have Conklin, he's absolutely startable with the volume he's been getting. He's played well. So, and he's a great blocker as a tight end. He's pretty complete.
He is.
I think the Vikings made a mistake letting him go and giving everything to Irv Smith.
Yeah, the only thing I'd like him to do is actually hang on to the fucking ball. He really needs to fix that.
Yeah.
He's been fumbling a lot, but I do like his production. Do like his outlook going into this. Jets fans are spiraling because we absolutely laid a fucking dud against the Bengals this past weekend, but Conklin's been a small bright spot, regardless of what some other fans have been saying. I think he's not like he doesn't show. It's a lot better than we've had at the tight end position for a while. Is there any other under the radar tight ends? Because you said there's not much here that people should be looking at because, 10 to 12 team leagues, you got to start someone.
I mean, people may have dropped Cole Kmet. He finally caught a fucking pass week 3. So, I mean, at some point, Justin Fields has to throw over like 100 yards. So, I think he could get going if those two heat up. There should be some more competitive games coming up. They got the Giants, obviously, and that's just a clash of the Titans right there.
That is some homer biasm if I've ever seen that. Again, you just said it right there. He hasn't thrown for 100 yards this year, and Kmet has 1 catch on the season.
2.
2. But I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole currently. I would need to see it for a week or 2 before I'd even consider that.
I don't blame him. It's so vacant out there.
It is.
It's a stash if you're completely desperate.
It's a war zone out there. All right, let's talk about something a little bit more exciting. Defenses that are performing very well, and it seems to be like there's quite a few streamers you can play this year. So Indy's defense playing against the Titans. Do you like that matchup?
It's fine. The Titans kind of rebounded a little bit last week, and their offense played a little better. But I think the Colts have matched up decently well against them the last couple of years.
I agree with that sentiment very much. What is your thoughts on the Dolphins against reborn Bengals offense this week?
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I think the Bengals kind of turned a corner, and they're going to be in their sick new white helmets on Thursday. So
I'm kind of excited to see that. They look pretty good.
I'm not super pumped about the Dolphins. I think Burrow scores a little bit on them, especially coming off on a short week coming out of the game that they played in with the weather that they played in. I can attest to it.
All right, and this one that you can get off of waivers is my defensive dominator of the week. And one you have to currently play every week. The Philadelphia Eagles going up against, yes, a very good Jacksonville Jaguars offense, but the Philly defense is suffocating. What's your thoughts on the Philly defense, and is this a must start every week now?
They're definitely top 12, but you got the Doug Peterson revenge game here with the Jaguars, and the Jaguars offense has played pretty good.
Ooh, are you thinking upset?
I think the Eagles probably win the game, but I don't know how dominant their defense is. The game is in Philly, though, right?
It is.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you have Philly's defense, you're definitely playing them.
Yeah, no, I'm more than happy to play Philly's defense in all formats going forward. They are scoring a shitload of fantasy points for you. What's your thoughts on Cleveland against the Falcons? I listed their starting quarterback is potentially a good start because of his legs, and the Falcons' offense has been all right.
Say that. I'm sorry, I missed that. I was reading that question.
Cleveland defense. I'm a little bit more down on it now, I think.
Yeah, especially if Garrett and Clowney are out, I wouldn't be super pumped about them. But
We have some late comments coming in here. Let's
look who it is.
Oh, we got two here. First, Ray0134 of the Heckling Fandom. Would you trade Mike Williams for Pitts? PPR, I have Keenan Allen and Ertz. What's your thoughts on this, JJ? Don't think I would.
It's tough because I don't know that you want both those Charger receivers going forward. Would you rather have Mike Williams or Keenan Allen?
Keenan Allen, I think he's proven to be the focal point the first week, and he was getting going. And Mike Williams, even without Keenan Allen there, hasn't done shit yet. He's got one touchdown that saved his previous week. And Keenan Allen looked good before.
Well, he was a monster versus the Chiefs a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I really think Keenan Allen's going to be the focal point when he comes back.
I think Keenan Allen's the safer player, but Mike Williams can win you weeks when he goes off.
Kyle Pitts looks a little better. I don't think this is really a losing proposition either way, honestly.
There's pros and cons. I think I would do.
You already have Ertz. I would keep Mike Williams. So I don't know. No, I think I would keep Mike Williams in this situation.
Yeah, I'd try and. I just don't want both of them. Man, that's tough.
All right, let's get to the grease and oil here. Christian from the Heckling Fandom says, "Hey JJ, how's your boys? How's your David Montgomery doing?"
D Mooney, he said.
I'm sorry, Montgomery
Darnell
and Mooney.
Yeah, so Christian, we had Christian for the rest of the Heckling Fandom is the number one Heckling fan, and he gave me shit for in our auction league not bidding on Mooney, and I didn't bid on Mooney for a reason. So new offense, new scheme. They just have not got rolling yet. The passing game is not rolling, and Fields is playing like garbage. So, yeah, hopefully Mooney picks it up, but he is not done anything yet. He's gotten open though.
How contrite for the show. And what's your thoughts on the last defense I have on this list for you? The Vikings going up against the Saints, who played pretty bad against the Panthers last week, although Olave looked good.
You said the Saints defense? Or you said the Vikings defense going against the Saints?
Yes.
I don't think the Vikings defense is that great, honestly.
So this is not an option you like then?
They're fine. They're in the middle of the road. This game is in London, so I don't know how that's going to translate. A lot of times in the London games, one team comes out and looks completely flat. Those games are always so weird and hard to predict.
Especially at 9 a.m. Make sure to actually set your lineups and don't have them in the flex.
Yes. That
could ruin your whole day.
Yeah, I think the Vikings probably win this one, but yeah, they're fine, Joe. Yeah, middle of the road defense.
We have another question here from the Heckling Fandom. Lucas Varina's 44 says, "This has been a good show, guys. Subscribe. Thank you very much, man. Thanks for the help earlier. If the owner of J-Rob didn't take that trade, what would I aim for if I gave up Zeke and Allen Robinson? Need a running back. Try Cook. Dalvin Cook's hurt. It's just coming off one good week. He's a decent target, I think. Who would you target, JJ?
Zeke and Allen Robinson.
I think Dalvin Cook's a good target here.
Yeah, you could. You could try and buy low on Dalvin.
Joe Mixon?
Mixon, yeah. I mean, a lot of these running backs, you think like Kamara, like a lot of these running backs have
another good one.
Played well. So if you think they're going to turn around like a Kamara or Cook, you can try and take advantage of that.
Maybe one of the Packers running backs too.
Aaron Jones had a bad week. Yep.
Let me preface this too. Breece Hall's looking a little better every week. So
they got to get the kid more than 8 carries, man. They got to
get passing work too.
Carries. Yeah.
We'll
see how that looks with Wilson.
Maybe you could flip Allen Robinson for him if you're in need of a running back, and he could be a monster here in a few weeks because I think he will be. So consider those 4 or 5 names. Any other names you'd like to throw out there for him, JJ?
No, I think maybe Eckler, but
Ugh, I think that's like the last one on the list.
I just think Eckler's gonna have a big game versus the Texans. So
Yeah, we'll see. Anything else you'd like to say to the Heckling Fandom before we get out of here tonight?
no, we just that we appreciate the viewers, guys, and make sure you come back when we do our weekly preview this week. It'll be tomorrow or Thursday. I don't know what we have it on schedule for.
Whatever, I wrote Thursday, but whatever works for yours and Ryan's schedule. But we haven't heard anything from him, so we'll see if I need to sub in last minute or not. So it'll be Wednesday or Thursday. Someone's got to be workhorse once in a while. Guys, if you like what you hear on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, make sure to like and subscribe to the show here on YouTube. Please join the Heckling Fandom. Visit us at www.garbagetimeft.com, where you can leave voicemails on the right side of your screen. Scream at us if you don't like the comments here. Give us your opinion. We love the debates. We love when you guys heckle us. It's absolutely fun. It's a great community to join. Again, if you want that signed Miles Sanders King Iron card, make sure to like and subscribe to a show. Leave us a comment to let us know that you did that. Leave us an Apple review. And I think there was one more thing that you need to do. I don't know. There's 4 things you need to do. Go back to the beginning of the show and listen to that.
I don't even know, but
again, let me try that
we'll
again.
We'll get a graphic for that. If it's an annual thing, we'll get a graphic to put up for you guys next time.
Yeah, anyway, it's leave a review on Apple, subscribe to the Heckling Fandom here on YouTube, like an episode and comment. I am the Heckling Fandom. To be entered into that contest at the end of the fantasy season, we will put all of those names into a drawing, and someone will win that autographed Miles Sanders card going forward. Also, if you want to reach us on Twitter, you can do that at garbage_time_FF or at Garbage Time Fantasy Football on Instagram. JJ, anything else you'd like to say before we get out of here? This is the 3rd time I've asked you.
No, I'm good.
All right, fuck it. Let's get the hell out of here. I found the button. Bye, guys.